Hello. Hello, Ramos. How are you? Hello.
Hello, teacher.
Hi, Ramos. How are you?
I'm fine.
Excellent. Where are you from?
I'm from Guayaquil.
From Guayaquil. Excellent, Ramos. So my name is Alex and welcome to workshop 3. Today, we're going to go over all of the different areas from this semester, okay?
Okay.
All right, so the first thing we're going to talk about is manner adverbs versus adjectives. So here we have a quick introduction. Can you please read the examples that we have here?
I wait patiently in line.
Very good. This is an example of a manner adverb, patiently, okay? And here we have an example of an adjective in a sentence. Go ahead and read this one.
I am a patient person.
Excellent. An adjective is this, patient, right? So we have patient person and the manner adverb patiently, okay? Notice the position of the adverbs and the adjectives. Adverbs come after the verb and adjectives come before the noun, okay? Can you read the second example here, Ramos?
He doesn't sing very well.
Very good. And
He is not a good singer.
excellent, Ramos. Can you identify the adverb in this first sentence? What's the adverb here?
Well,
Excellent. Very good. This is well. And what about in the second example? Can you identify the adjective?
good.
Excellent. He's a good singer. Oops. He is a good singer. Let's highlight that. Very good. A good singer. Excellent. And we have one more example, Ramos. What about the third example?
She drives very fast.
Absolutely. Or
He is a fast driver.
excellent. So remember, verb plus the manner adverb to describe how something happened, and adjective plus the noun to describe a noun, an object. Here we have some regular adverbs that are going to be plus ly and some irregular adverbs. So we have, go ahead and read these for me, Ramos. Patient.
Patient, patiently.
Careful.
Carefully. Easy, easily.
Excellent. These are going to be, excuse me 1 second, okay? These are going to be regular adverbs. So all we have to do is add ly to the adjective and it becomes an adverb. ly, and ly, okay? Here we have some irregular adverbs that do not follow the basic rule. These change completely. So can you please read these, Ramos? Good.
Good, well, late, fast, fast.
Excellent. You have to be careful because sometimes it's exactly the same. For example, this is an adverb and this is the adjective, exactly the same. She drives very fast, or he's a fast driver, okay? So if I ask you, Ramos, what do you do well? What do you do well, Ramos? Can you think of an example?
I don't know.
Do you play soccer?
No. Okay.
Play video games?
I swim.
Excellent. I swim well. This is the action, the verb, and then this is the adverb, because we have to follow the structure of verb plus manner adverb, okay?
Okay.
Excellent. Adjectives. Maybe for an adjective, you could just give a quick example here. We could say something like, where are you from, Ramos? Are you from Guayaquil?
Yes.
Okay, so Guayaquil is a big city. And here we have the adjective describing the noun, okay?
Okay.
Any questions? Is this okay?
Yes, it's okay.
Excellent. All right, so let's erase and let's continue to the next one. The next one is adverbs before adjectives and adverbs. Let's begin by reading the introduction here, Ramos. Can you please read this?
Use incredible, extremely,
Yes.
very, really, so, very, and fairly.
Excellent.
To make some adjective and adverbs stronger.
Excellent, Ramos. So let me help you. We'll take turns. Here we have the first example. Maria's incredibly talented. She's extremely generous. So here you can see that we have incredibly plus the adjective. So we can see here, incredibly talented, right? Or we can see extremely is the adverb, and then generous is the adjective, okay? Here we have one more example. Can you read this example here, Ramos?
Once a very cool guy, we get along really well.
Excellent. Can you identify the adverb? Where's the adverb?
Pretty.
Excellent. Very good. Oops.
The adjective cool.
Excellent. Very good, Ramos. So we have pretty and then adjective cool. Excellent. Very good. And here we have another example or another use. It says, don't use absolutely or really with adjectives that are already strong. So let's read the example here, Ramos.
She is absolutely wonderful. He is really fantastic.
Excellent. So you can see that this
This
is...
example, I don't understand.
Okay, excellent, Ramos. So here you can see that we can't use absolutely or really for adjectives that are strong. So maybe we can make a list here. Let's go here. We have regular and we have, let's do two different columns. So here we have regular. A regular adjective is big, small, maybe you could say pretty. Let's change this color. So these are going to be regular adjectives, okay? Big, small, pretty. If we wanted to talk about a big or a strong adjective, then it would be something like this. So these are already going to be strong adjectives. So a strong adjective is going to be huge or tiny or gorgeous, right? So this is a regular adjective and this is a strong adjective, but they have the same meaning. And we can't use absolutely huge or really tiny because these are already strong adjectives, okay? Does that make sense? Kind
No,
of?
I don't understand.
Okay. This is a strong adjective. This is
Okay.
a regular adjective, right? And we have different adjectives for saying something. For example, let me give you an example here. I could say maybe Ambato is big, but Guayaquil is huge, right? So Guayaquil is much bigger than Ambato. So here we can use really big because it's not a strong adjective, it's just a regular adjective. But here we cannot say really huge. This is incorrect. So we would have to erase, right? This is incorrect. We're not going to use Guayaquil is really huge because we can't use absolutely or really with strong adjectives, okay?
Okay.
Kind of, does that make sense, sort of?
Yes.
Okay.
See, I understand.
So that's exactly what we have here. She's absolutely wonderful. So absolutely wonderful. He's really fantastic. So you can see here. What about the next one? Can you read the next one, Ramos?
The expression at all makes negative stronger.
Very good. The expression at all makes negative stronger. And here we have an example. The example is Susan's not selfish at all. Mario's not upset at all. So when we want to say something negative and stronger, we can use not plus the adjective at all, okay?
Okay.
And we have one more. Can you read the last one here, Ramos?
Completely and totally mean 100%.
Very good. That's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. He's completely honest. She's totally reliable. So we use completely and totally plus the adjective to make it 100%, okay? So maybe I can ask you a question, Ramos. If I ask you, who is the most generous person you know? Who is the most generous person you know? And then you can use any of the forms that we have here. You can use completely, absolutely, incredibly, to tell me about a person who is generous.
My mom is completely generous.
Excellent. Absolutely. Great example. So, any questions, Ramos? Is this clear? Is this okay?
Un ejemplo de adverb before and adverbs.
An adverb before another adverb, sure. So you want to talk about this one. For example, let's erase this one. If we erase this here, and then maybe we could say something like to make an adjective. So she dances really well, right? So here we have the adverb, and here we have another adverb to kind of modify or change the other adverb, okay? there's not too many exceptions where we can use that, right? He runs really fast, right? And again,
Okay.
this is an adjective, but it's also an adverb. And this is irregular, so this is an adverb, okay?
Really is adverb, right?
Yeah. You could say extremely if you want. He runs extremely fast. If we wanted to use something else, right? Or you could say he runs pretty fast, and it's an adverb plus another adverb, okay?
Okay.
Excellent. Any other questions, Ramos? Or is this clear? Is this okay?
It's okay.
Great. Let's erase. And here we have the present perfect. So present perfect has a couple different forms. Here we can see the affirmative form, we can see the negative form, and the interrogative form. So they're going to be fairly similar as they all use the auxiliary have plus the verb in past participle. So can you read maybe these first two examples for me, Ramos?
I have played.
Very good.
I haven't played.
Excellent
I
pronunciation.
played.
Exactly. And then the question, we just invert the subject and have, right? So you can see that it's subject plus have plus past participle. The negation of have is haven't, and the question form is, or the yes and no question form is going to be with have, okay? So if I ask you, Ramos, if I ask you, have you, let's change the color, have you watched a movie this week? Have you watched a movie this week, Ramos?
Yes, I have.
Excellent. Yes, I have. Absolutely right. What else have you done? Can you give me an example? Maybe with the subject plus the verb, sorry, subject plus have plus past participle.
Mm.
What else have you done this week?
Mm. I have worked.
Excellent. Very good. I have worked. And remember, the pronunciation here is actually going to be a T. So instead of pronouncing worked,
Worked.
we pronounce worked. Excellent. Very good. All right, Ramos, what do you think? Easy peasy? Kind of?
Is example, yes.
All right, maybe we could do something a little bit more complicated. Let's clear, and we could do something here. We could say, have you ever done something really difficult? And here we can see the adverb plus the adjective, right? Have you ever done something really difficult? And the answer could be something like, I have been a Marine in the Navy for 25 years, right? So now it's an action that has been happening for a long period of time. And this is another example where we can use the present perfect, okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Have you ever done something really difficult? This is not true, by the way. I'm not a Marine. This is only an example.
Maybe, I don't know. Have
Okay,
you ever done something really difficult?
to be honest with you, I think it's not the Navy, it would be the Army, right?
No,
In the army. No, nothing?
no,
Okay.
I have.
Very good, no problem. Excellent. So you used the correct form of yes, I have, no, I haven't. Remember that for third person, he, she, and it, we have to change the auxiliary and it's no longer have, now it's going to be has, okay?
Okay.
Do you have any brothers and sisters, Ramos?
Yes,
Excellent. Brother or sister?
3 brothers and 1 sister.
Excellent. Has your brother been to Miami? Has your brother been to Miami?
No, he hasn't.
Excellent. Very good. So we have to change the have to has. Excellent. So make sure to practice because we have many irregular verbs that change completely and not necessarily end with the EY or ED, okay? All right, so let's continue. Here we have one of the best topics, in my opinion, because you can have lots of conversation and you can talk about many different topics when it comes to superlatives. So let's see the spelling rule when it comes to superlatives. Can you read this part here for me?
1 syllable or words ending with I.
Why,
Why.
right? Excellent. So when we have one syllable and it ends with Y, it's just going to be simple. And we're going to say, let's see. I'll put it here. What happened to my mouse? For example, happy is going to be one syllable. Actually, it's 2 syllables. If we say, for instance, fast, right? In order to make this a superlative, this is going to be EST for short words with 1 syllable, right? Or if we have something ending in a Y, then in this case, we have to change it to happiest. In this case, okay? So here we can see an example down here for the superlative. Can you read the examples we have here? Healthy?
I can see Haiti, the heaviest.
Let's see if I can make this bigger, okay? One moment, please. Interesting. I thought I could magnify, but I guess I can't. No, I'm sorry. That's all I got. I apologize, Ramos. So healthy, the healthiest, right? The next one, what does it say below that? It says happy.
Happiest.
Excellent. Happy, the happiest. Then these are going to be examples ending with a Y. When we have consonant, vowel, consonant, which is the rule that we have here, vowel and consonant, we're going to repeat the final consonant and we get, can you read these 2 examples for me, Ramos?
Big, the biggest.
Fit,
I can see
fit,
fit.
the fittest. Very
Fit.
good. Absolutely. We could put that here. Let's see. We could put, let's do a different color. We could do fit. Fit turns into the fittest. We have to make sure that we repeat the final consonant, right? Because it's going to be vowel consonant and it's 1 syllable, we repeat the final syllable and we repeat add EST, okay? here we have the last one. When it's just regular, it's like this, fastest. So we have the longest, the tallest, and the most difficult one, not because it's hard to do, but because sometimes we think we can add EST, but we can't. These are irregulars and they change completely. Can you read these for me, Ramos?
Good, the best, but the worst.
Absolutely. They change completely. And also the last one is far, the furthest, or the farthest. It doesn't matter. Both of them are the same, okay? So let's see if we can practice. What happens if I ask you, what is the biggest mall in Guayaquil? What is the biggest mall in Guayaquil?
The biggest mall is Mall Letzo.
What's it called? Malitza.
Mhm.
Okay, nice. So we could say the biggest mall is, and I'm not sure what the name is. Can you repeat the name, please?
Mall del Sol. Sí.
Oh, okay, the Sun.
Ajá.
Okay, cool. Mall El Sol, right? Cool. All right, so again, it's going to be vowel plus consonant. So we have to repeat the final consonant and add EST. Very good. And the comparatives are going to be very similar, but instead of EST, now it's going to be ER, okay? But I think you're not going to see too much of the comparatives, just the superlatives, okay? Any questions, Ramos?
No.
All right. What is the best restaurant in Guayaquil? It could be an imagination. McDonald's, Burger King.
McDonald's.
Excellent. So McDonald's is the best restaurant in Guayaquil. Very good. Remember that comparatives do not use the. We only use more exciting, more boring, bigger, taller. And this is the rule for longer adjectives, okay? When we have two or more syllables, we are going to use more and less, or the most and least, okay?
And superlative is the most, only most.
Always with the most, always. The superlative is always going to have the, well, 90% of the time, yes?
Okay.
Okay, all right. Any other questions, Ramos?
No.
Excellent. Let's erase and let's continue. We have plenty to do today. Here, we can talk about the past. So let's talk a little bit about the past. Can you please read this introduction that we have here, Ramos?
Used to for regular activities or situations in the past that don't happen now or are no longer true.
Very good.
I used to go over to my sister's house a lot.
Excellent. So notice how we're using the used to plus the regular form of the verb. Very, very simple for past actions that are no longer true, okay? What about example number 2?
The 5 of us used to play on a team.
Absolutely. Do you like sports, Ramos?
No.
No
I
sports.
don't.
What about video games? Do you like video games?
Yes.
Nice. Call of Duty, Overwatch, League of Legends.
Whatever.
You play anything. FIFA. What about FIFA? You like FIFA?
Yes.
Oh, but you said you don't like sports, so you can't play FIFA. All right. And we have one more example here. What about this example?
I didn't used to work so much, but now I do.
I didn't used to work so much, but now I do. We can also do a comparison with the future, I'm sorry, with the present by using but, right? So here we have an interesting question. It says, did you used to go out a lot when you were younger? And then we could say something like, I used to go to, let's change that color. I used to go to the park after school. That's the first part. And then we can continue by saying, but now, or we can put a comma, but now I don't have time to go, right? We can do like a comparison between the past action that we used to do and the present, okay? So if I ask you, Ramos, maybe what did you used to do when you were younger? What did you used to do? What did you used to do when you were younger, Mr. Ramos?
I use I don't know.
I used to play, eat, buy, visit. You can use any verb that you like.
I used to visit to the beach.
Excellent. I used to visit the beach. And then we could say, but now what do you do? Now you have to work, right, Ramos? There's no time for the beach.
What is the difference used to verb the past?
What is the difference between used to and the verb in the past?
Use the auxiliary did.
Oh, the difference between did and used to, correct? Did is going to be for any action, a completed action in the past. For example, I did my homework, right? I did my homework last week. I did my homework already. And used to is, used to is now going to be for something that was repeated or a habit in the past, but is not true in the present, okay? Very, very different. You can't mix them, okay? For example, let me give you another example here. If I say, I went to the beach last year, that's a completed action, right? That's completed, it happened, it's over. But if you say, I used to go to the beach, now this is a repeated action that was a habit in the past, but we know that in the present, it's not true, okay?
Okay, I understand now.
Okay, great. So let's do one more example. I have to, unfortunately, you're the only one here, Rama, so you get extra practice. You get all of the practice for you, okay?
I used to study too much.
I used to study a lot,
a lot.
but now
And now
what happened, Ramos? Shame on you.
I don't have much time for my work,
Okay,
for my job.
I don't have much time because
Because
of my job, right? But now I don't have much time because of my job, okay? Excellent, Ramos. So just be careful, okay? And kind of to go further into your question for did, remember that did is an auxiliary for negations, did not, or for questions, right? So we use did for a question or for a negation, okay? Is that clear?
yes, yes.
Awesome.
The past, yes. I don't know the used to, but now I understand.
Excellent. Just make sure that it was repeated, okay? All right, let's continue, Ramos. The next one is countable and uncountable nouns. What did you have for breakfast today, Ramos?
I don't understand.
What did you have for breakfast today? What did you have for breakfast today?
I breakfast.
So here we can just say, I had
I have
tigrillo. Did you have tigrillo?
encebolladas.
Ooh, nice. I had encebollado. Very good. Excellent. So this is a question for the past, and we can be direct. Instead of saying eat, I ate, or we just say I had an encebollado because it's going to be singular, right? And today,
One question. I have I don't need use to eating or ate.
for meals. So for meals, comidas, we're going to use have. I have a sandwich for lunch. I have cereal for breakfast. So when we talk about a meal, lunch.
Have y es como eat.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Very good. You can say I ate cereal.
En cualquier sentences. Or only countable or uncountable nouns.
Yep, no problem. Both of them. Okay. All right. So encebollado is going to be which one? Do you think it's going to be countable or uncountable?
Countable.
Uncountable. Uncountable, right? Because it's liquid, a soup. Anything that's liquid is going to be uncountable.
Can porque tiene varios ingredientes.
Also, yes, because it's a mixture of ingredients. Exactly, right?
But for the reason is uncountable.
Yes, because it's served in a bowl or a cup. Usually it's a liquid, right? So we use a bowl or a cup or liquids. Liquids, líquidos, right? So tazón o taza for liquids, okay? These are going to be uncountables. Okay. Is that okay?
Yes.
All right. Here we have some examples. Can you read the first examples, Ramos? Uncountable nouns.
Uncountable nouns, little, much, and less.
All right, and we have some examples. For example, we have a little butter And I can't see, I'm sorry. We have a little butter in the fridge. What about the next example? Can you read the next example?
There's not much food in the house.
Excellent. Or
I'm trying to eat less fat.
excellent. So let's take a moment and let's understand that little, much, or less is going to be for uncountables, okay? So little butter, much food, or less fat. But when we talk about things that are countables, now it's a little bit different. Can you read these examples for me, Ramos?
We have a few slices of cheese.
Slices, right? So we have few slices. What about number 2? Skim milk.
Skim milk has fewer calories.
Absolutely. So calories are countable. So now we can say fewer calories. And there's one more example, Ramos.
There are many vegetables on these pigs.
Excellent. So even though vegetables can be a variety of different names, it's still countable. 1 vegetable, 2 vegetable, 3 vegetables, okay? And this is going to be for countables, okay? So make
Always they use few, fewer, or many, and uncountable numbers.
always, yep. So maybe if I ask you, Ramos, what do you have in your kitchen? What do you have in your kitchen? Try to think of something maybe countable or something maybe uncountable. Can you think of an example?
I have a little, no, I'm sorry. I have a much milk.
Excellent. I have much milk in my fridge. Very good. Excellent. So I have much. So just be careful here, because when we use much, you can see that this is a negative. This is a negation, right? So actually you want to say let's see, I don't have much milk in my fridge, right? So we use much for a negation or for a question, okay? Just be careful, okay? What about another example? What else do you have in your kitchen?
I have a few soda.
Exactly. Sugar's uncountable, right? Excellent.
Orange.
I have a few oranges. Excellent. And remember, because it's plural, Ramos, we want to put oranges. Very important, the S, because now we know it's plural, okay? Excellent. Let's see, let's practice, Ramos. Here, we have some objects, some different types of food. What about if I ask you can? Countable or uncountable?
Uncountable.
A can. A can is lata.
Okay. Countable.
Excellent.
But it's not liquid.
Exactly, because this is the container. This is the recipient, the container, the
Yes.
recipient, right? What about bottle?
Countable.
Very good. What about roll? A roll of toilet paper or maybe paper towels?
Countable.
Absolutely. What about if I say a head of lettuce? This is a head of lettuce.
I don't know that.
Lechuga. Lechuga is
Okay.
countable or uncountable?
Countable.
It's uncountable, right? I guess you could say
Uncountable.
one head, two heads, three heads, yes. But lettuce, lechuga, you can't say one lechuga, two lechugas because there's many. It's very difficult, right?
I don't understand. Countable or uncountable? Lechuga.
A head of lettuce, countable. But lettuce, let's put that here. Lettuce, only lettuce, which is lechuga, is going to be uncountable. It's like
What
saying
means head?
head is like I don't know how you say that in Spanish, Ramos. La porción or la bola de lechuga. I don't know how you say that.
Okay. Yeah, understand.
Okay. So,
Okay.
so the head is countable, but the actual lettuce is not, okay?
Okay.
What about milk? Is milk countable?
Uncountable.
Excellent. What about if I say tea? Is tea countable?
Countable.
Now the cup.
Uncountable,
countable.
but liquid.
Excellent. Very good, Ramos. All right. So just remember that the only thing you have to remember, Ramos, is little, much, and less, uncountable. A few, fewer, many, countable. If you can remember that, then it'll be a lot easier on the exam, okay?
A question. Always I use before the example for bottle, I use few, fewer, or many.
Yes. Before the object?
In the sentence, in oración, in sentence.
Yes, absolutely. So it goes like, let's say it's determiner plus noun, right? The determiner is few, fewer, many, little, much, less. This is the determiner, right? And then the noun, the object, is butter, food, fat, slices, calories, or vegetables. So it's determiner plus the noun, okay?
Okay.
Excellent. Let's erase. And let's continue. You're doing great, Ramos. You're doing excellent. You're going to get extra points for being the only student to attend. All right, the next one is going to and will. So let's begin by reading the introduction here, Ramos. If
you are making a future prediction based on evidence in the present situation, use going to.
Very good. So this is because you're making a prediction on some evidence. You have some visual evidence of something. You could say something like, not a cloud in the sky. It's going to be another warm day. So because you see there's no clouds in the sky, it's going to be a nice day, a warm day. What about this one?
Look at that line. We are not going to get in 4 hours.
Excellent. So again, some physical evidence. Here it says the traffic is terrible. We're going to miss our flight because of the traffic that you see. And then finally, what's the last one, Ramos?
Be careful, you are going to spill your coffee.
All right, Ramos. So let's see. What evidence do you have right now that you can give me a future prediction? I know that you are doing excellent. I know that you're participating. You came to class. So Ramos is going to do great on the final exam, right? So we use going to plus the verb. Can you think of an example of something that you have physical evidence of? You there, Ramos?
Yes, I'm sorry. Well,
I thought you fell asleep, Ramos. I was like, no.
no, I'm writing.
Oh, okay.
Writing the tips and
Okay, excellent.
and going to and well.
All right. No
I don't
problem.
understand. Can you
It's-
repeat this?
Yes. So my question is, what do you think is going to happen in the future, right? So what do you think is going to happen in the future? Because what do you see? What do you think is going to happen in the future? So I am going to, you are going to, Ecuador.
I am going to Quito City or only Quito?
I'm going to Quito. I'm going to Quito. Very good. Excellent. Very good. So remember, future plans, like I am going to Quito, or something that you have physical evidence of. All right. Here we have the next one. The other one is going to be will. Can you read this for me? At the moment.
At the moment of making a decision, use will. Once you have made the decision, talk about it using going to.
Here we have an example. I'll call Jenny. I will call Jenny to let her know, Sarah, I need Jenny's number. I am going to call her about the meeting. So the first part, we can use will. I'll call Jenny, right? The next one is going to. So then we can use going to. I am going to call, let's make a different color. I am going to call her about the meeting, right? So you can say something at the moment, and then once you have it planned, then you can go on to number two, okay? What about this example here? Can you read this example here, Ramos?
I'll come and have a drink with you, but I must let Harry know. Harry, I'm going to have a drink with Simon.
Simon, very good.
Simon.
All right, so let's see. After this class, Ramos, I will go and have a burger. I am going to ask my wife if she wants to come, right? So it's like something that you make the decision right now. Right now, I decide that I will go and have a burger. And in the future, my plan is to ask my wife. So we have will and we have will and we have going to. What are you going to do after
A
class?
question, teacher.
Yes,
And have also también puede ser it o
yeah,
only have.
no, absolutely. Let's change it. Let's put eat. I'm going to eat a burger. I will go and eat a burger. I am going to ask my wife if she wants to come. Maybe we could do
The rule
after
is
class.
pronouns must going to always, right?
Yes. So we have subject pronoun plus be going to,
Subject,
right?
be going.
Going to plus the verb plus the complement, right? So let's make this big. We could put this like this. I am going to ask her if she wants to come, okay?
The verb is simple.
Exactly. The verb is in the regular form, the base form. Absolutely.
As I said, 3-person.
I'm
Right.
sorry.
En las terceras personas, igual en su forma simple.
Yep.
Yes.
Because it's going to, right? She is,
Okay.
he is, they are. What changes is the verb to be. The verb to be will change, okay?
Okay.
The verb to be changes for third person.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, so let's erase this one. My question is, what are you going to do after class? What are you going to do after class, Mr. Ramos? Or what will you do, sorry? What will you do after class?
I will take the shower and I'm going to shopping center.
Excellent, very good. I'll take a shower. And then I'm going
I'm going
to
to
the shopping center. Very good. Are you gonna go to the Mall of the Sun?
yes.
All right, cool.
Only,
The Sun Mall.
el que quede más cerca.
All right, excellent. All right, Ramos, what do you think? Remember, two different uses. At the moment, let's erase. One moment, Ramos. Let's
For can you
go back.
no I need an example for the test, the final test, but
Okay.
but I know cómo va a ser más o menos. And
How-
this going to or with.
Okay, exactly. So this is the important part. The important part is going to be this. When you see that it's at the moment, in the exam, Susana and Pablo are talking, right? So you see that they're talking, it's at the moment. You're going to use will, okay? So en el momento, will. Once you see that it is going to be a future plan, right? Something in the future, then you use going to for something that's a prediction in the future, okay? So what happens, normally on the exam, you'll see a conversation. Susana talking to Pablo, Pablo talking to Susana. And the next sentence has to be will because it's at the moment. It's at the moment. So it has to be will, okay?
Okay.
After, después, once they have the plan, then you have going to. Then you'll have going to, because now it's a plan. It's something that they have predetermined or something that they have a prediction about, okay?
Okay.
All right. So normally on the exam, pay attention to who is talking. ¿Quién está hablando? So if you can see who is talking, you can see if it's at the moment or if it's a future plan, okay? All right. Any other questions, Ramos?
No, thank you.
All right, let's erase. We can see the next one is the same thing. So going to and will, and this is pretty much the same thing, but now we have two options. Option number one, we have, one moment, please. Option number one, not so certain about, right? If we are not so certain, 50%, we're going to use will, okay? When we think something is not 100%, we can use will. So go ahead and read this instructions here. Can you read this, Ramos?
If we are not so certain about the future, we use will with expressions such as probably, possible,
Possibly.
possibly, I think, I hope.
Excellent. So this is different because now we have probably, we have possibly, I think, and I hope. So it's a certainty. And here we have some examples. I hope you'll visit me home. I hope you'll visit my home one day. What about this one, Ramos? Can you read this one?
She'll probably be a great success.
Success. Success.
Success.
Very good. She'll probably be a great success. The next one is, I'll possibly come, but I may not get back in time. And then finally,
I think we will get along well.
excellent. So this is not so certain. We use probably, possibly, I think, and I hope. So maybe we can complete the sentence. I hope I will. How can we complete this sentence, Ramos? I hope I will.
The past exam.
Excellent, very good. I hope I will pass the exam. I am sure you are going to pass, Ramos, trust me. You're going to do great. Just pay attention to the instructions, okay? If it says the future, we use going to. If it says the present perfect, we use have and past participle. Always paying attention to the instructions, okay? Ecuador will probably the World Cup. Can you finish this sentence for me?
Win.
Very good. We'll probably win the World Cup. Excellent. So you can see that we use probably, will, probably, and then the verb. Will pass, or I hope I will pass. Okay. All right. Any questions, Mr. Ramos?
No.
No? All right. Give me one moment, please. Let's see. All right. So next we have the Why can't I change? Next, we have wishes and imaginary situations. So I'm sorry for the size. I don't know why this is so small. Okay. Maybe we can just, can you read this, Ramos? It says wishes for the present or the future. Wish plus,
We must
plus,
pass form of the verb.
yeah. So wish plus past form of the verb. I wish I had more free time. Or what about this one?
I wish I weren't so busy with my work.
Excellent. So here we have the wish structure. So maybe we can write this here. The wish structure is going to be wish plus past form of the verb, okay? This is the structure that we're going to use for wish, right? Example, I wish I had $1 million. The next part is going to be the other part. So the other part is if plus past form of the verb, and then plus would or could. Let's put it like this. So if plus past form of the verb plus could plus the verb. If I had more free time, subject plus could or would. Plus the verb. I'm trying to make this bigger so you can see it. So this is the first part. Let's erase this. This is the first part here, wish plus the past form, and then this is the past form. If I had, I would, the subject goes here. Like that. If I had, I could, would, and then we continue the sentence, right? So here we can see like an example here. If I had $1 million, sorry, I'm putting this backwards. I wish I had $1 million if I had $1 million, I would go to Paris, right? So it's not too complicated, but you just have to remember that we have two parts. This is the first part, which is going to be the simple past, I wish I had, and then this is going to be the second part, if I plus the past, and then would plus the verb, right? So you kind of read it like this. You read from left to right. So I wish I had more free time. If I had more free time, I would go camping. What about this one here, Ramos? Can you read this one?
I wish I weren't so busy with my work. If I were less busy, I would go on vacation.
Excellent. So what you have to remember is that if and wish is always plus the past form, okay? This is the past. This is the past. So if I had, or I wish I had. So both of them are going to be the past. Make sure to remember that when you're taking the test, okay? Here we have, let's do an example. If I ask you, Ramos, what do you wish you had? What do you wish you had, Ramos?
I wish I have master's degree.
Excellent. I wish I had a master's degree. If I had a master's degree, this is with apostrophe, right? If I had a master's degree, I would, what would you do, Ramos? If you had a master's degree, I would.
I don't know.
Get a nice job. You can say could. Both of them are the same, would or could.
I could win a lot.
Excellent. Excellent. I could earn. Remember that for money, you earn a lot of money, right? Excellent. So remember the structure, okay? If I had, if I wish I had, if I had. Okay? And here we have question forms.
So in this example, always might I wish or only if I have y lo demás?
Both of them. It's like the wish, deseo, and if the result, resultado, right? So if this happens, if I wish this happens, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right, here we have the question forms. Can you read the question form here, Ramos? What would
you do if you broke a friend's camera?
Excellent. So notice that for the question, you still have to use broke, which is the past. So here we can say, I would
apologize for breaking it.
Excellent. Or
I will pay for the repairs.
Excellent. Very good. And we have yes and no questions. So this is an information question, and this is a yes and no question. Can you read this yes and no question?
Would you pay for a new one?
Yes, I would. Or
yes, I would. No, I wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't, right? So let me ask you a question. If I ask you, Ramos, what would you do if it snowed in Guayaquil? What would you do if it snowed in Guayaquil?
It's impossible, but I go to play with the snow.
Excellent. Very good. I will play with the snow. Very good. I would play the lottery, Ramos. If it snowed in Guayaquil, I would play the lottery because something crazy is happening. Something crazy. So maybe you could play the lottery. All right. So very basic.
What is the different? I'm sorry. What is the different code and go
Would.
would
Exactly. Could
Would.
is podría, possibilities, podría, right? I could
Could.
dance, I could go, I could buy, possibilities, podría. And then would is very, very similar, but it's just like an auxiliary verb, right? So when we use would plus a verb, it's an imaginary situation, right? Imaginary situation. And when we translate it into Spanish, it's like compraría, estudiaría, iría, dormiría. So would is the auxiliary that changes the verb, okay? For imaginary situations, right?
Okay.
All right. And could is abilities, right? Poder. Yo puedo, tú puedes, yo podría, right? It's the ability of being able to, okay? All right. So let's erase. We're almost done, Ramos. The next one is embedded questions. So embedded questions is when we have two questions in one. Let's begin by reading the examples that we have here. So here is the first one. It says, what's the problem? And then it goes on to say, do you know what the problem is? So it's two questions combined into one, okay? What about this one? Can you read this one?
Which side did you use? Do you remember which side you used?
Excellent, right? So it's kind of two questions in one. And here we have, what should we do? Do you know what we should do? And then finally, the last one.
What time is it? Do you know what time it is?
These expressions, do you know, do you remember, are going to be how we can kind of use a question and make it indirect. So it's direct questions here, and then we have indirect questions. So if I ask you, what time is the game? Do you know what time is the game, right? It's just kind of like repeating, very, very simple, the question. Can you ask me a question?
Why in this other example, what time it is it change the place the verb are?
Excellent question, Ramos. Very good. Because for direct questions, we have WH plus the verb to be plus the complement. What time is the class? What time is the movie? So WH, verb to be plus the complement. Indirect questions, we kind of switch it because now it's, do you know what time is the game? And then we just switch the subject and the verb to be for indirect questions, okay? We switch like here. You can see here, subject, verb to be, right? Direct, verb to be, subject. We invert it in the indirect question. It's just the structure that we have, okay? Can you ask me a question, Ramesh?
I confused in your example, in the example, what time is it? And do you know what time it is? In your example is what time is the game? Do you know what time is the game?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you're absolutely right. So here, yeah, you're right. Here, the game is going to be it, right? So what
Yeah.
time the game is, you're absolutely right. Here, like this, right? What time the game is, it's inverted. We have to switch it, right? Do you know what time the game is? And we have to switch it from the original direct sentence, okay? I didn't see that. I'm looking at it and I didn't even see that. Can you ask me a question, Ramos?
No.
An example. Can you give me an example of a question?
What do you, I know, direct question about that. I don't know.
Maybe you could ask me about the exam. When is the
When-
exam?
When, no, ¿cuántas?
How many?
How many questions have the exam?
How many
Has-
questions does the exam have, right? How many questions does the exam have? Excellent. And then we can use one of the expressions.
Do you know
Excellent.
how many questions the exam has the exam?
And so how many questions does the exam have? And then I guess it could be, how many questions does the exam have? And then the question could be, do you know how many questions the exam has? Now that's the same, right? So do you know how many? Do you know how many questions the exam has? I guess the only thing that changes in this case is the auxiliary, because we have the auxiliary do. Do you know how many questions the exam has? And it actually becomes third person, and what we're switching is the questions. We're just kind of inverting the subject here.
Yes, I understand.
Okay, all right. This is, don't complicate it. All you have to do is invert, okay? So as long as you're inverting it, it's the same thing, okay? Any questions, Ramos?
No.
All right. So those are the embedded questions. So let's erase, and we have, let's see. Almost done, almost done. Here we have the present perfect continuous, okay? So let's take a look at the examples that we have here. Remember, the present perfect continuous is an action that started in the past, okay? It started in the past and is either going to continue into the future or has stopped in the present. So here you can see, I know the picture is not too clear, but you can see the structure is going to be has been or have been plus the present participle. And it says activity started in the past and continues to the present, or activity started in the past and recently finished. Both of them are okay, but they both start in the past and continue. It has to be a long action. What about this first example here? Can you read this first example, Ramos?
Teacher, can
Yes.
you say what is the different present perfect and present perfect continuous?
Excellent. All right. So the present perfect, let's put that maybe, we can put it down here. Present perfect is going to be for experiences, right? How many times, right? Or something that started in the past, but normally going to be for experiences, right? So in this case, let's do a couple examples down here. We could say, I have traveled to many countries. Here we have the present perfect. Traveled to many countries is going to be the experience, right? And if we wanted to say how many times, I have been to Miami many times, right? In this case, we're specifying like how many times something was happened, once, twice, many times, but we usually don't specify more than that. Now, the present perfect continuous, this one has to be an ongoing action. That's the name continuous. So now when we say something that's ongoing, we can see the example here. Can you read this example here?
Yes, I have been waiting for the English teacher for the last
Half hour.
half hours.
Excellent. So this is like half hour. So here you can see that this started in the past, continued for half an hour, and in the present, it continues, right? Where the present perfect is not continuous, it's just an experience or to determine once, twice, or many times, okay? What about
Present perfect continuous, in the past and present siguen sin resolverse, por así decir.
Yes, exactly.
Esa es la diferencia.
Yes. Or it could, remember that this could have finished recently, okay?
Or,
So let's say that this continues. Ramos, I have been waiting for the English teacher for the last half an hour. And now the teacher is here. The teacher is now here. And maybe this is over. It finished, right? But something that recently finished, recientemente finished, right?
okay.
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 And then this one is just a little different, okay? Or it continues into the future. Continues and continues and continues. For example, I have been living in Ecuador for 2 years. So 2 years in the past, and today, tomorrow, I'm not leaving anytime soon. So I continue to live in Ecuador, okay?
Okay.
All right, what about example number 2? Can you read example number 2?
You have been studying English all day.
Excellent. That's you, right, Ramos? You've been studying English all day. Are you going to continue after class or do you stop?
Stop.
All right. Example number 3. What's example number 3?
The children have been studying all day. I think they should rest.
Excellent. So they have been studying and then possibly going to stop. What about this one here, Ramos? My neighbor?
My neighbor has been singing for the last hour and she sings horribly.
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 Excellent. So maybe this continues. And what about this one?
The rainstorm has been getting worse and worse.
Excellent. So this is something that's going to escalate and continue over the next, into the present, okay? All right, any questions, Ramos?
The
Present
verb,
perfect? Yes,
the verb finish and ing, right?
always ing, very good. So we can do subject plus have or has plus verb. I'm sorry, been plus verb plus ing, always, okay? So she has been dancing for hours, okay? Any other questions, Ramos?
Si una oración es, por example, yesterday,
So once
ahí
we,
no aplica.
exactly. Once we say yesterday, last weekend, last night, then it's something specific, right? So this is something specific, and this is going to be the simple past. This is now the simple past. As soon as you see this morning, yesterday, last night, last weekend, last Tuesday, that is the simple past because it's something specific, okay?
Okay, I understand.
All right, so make sure to practice and remember, don't, so again, Ramos, pay attention to the instructions because the exam is going to tell you present perfect continuous or the present perfect. Or maybe the exam will say the present perfect continuous or the simple past, and you have to determine which one. So if you see a specific time expression, simple past. If you see something non-specific, many times, a few times, something non-specific, it's the present perfect, okay?
Si no es específico, I have experienced and how many times is present
Present perfect,
perfect.
exactly. If it's a long action, a continuous action, started in the past, continues in the present, that's going to be present perfect continuous, right?
Okay.
All right, practice, practice, practice. So,
Son va a estar desastre, ¿verdad? Pasada, presente.
probably
Right.
going to, yes, you're gonna have to see some of that, absolutely. All right, let's see. Here we have module verbs. So if you can do the present perfect, the modal verbs should be very, very easy for you. So here we have models for speculating. Can you read this example here?
Mary knows everything. She must be a genius.
Must is when we are certain, we are sure. So we use must. The next one is George seems tired. He must work pretty hard. Again, we are certain, we are speculating, but we are sure. What about number 3? Can you read number 3?
Sue looks bored. She must not go out much.
Very good. She must not go out much. You know, we're still speculating, but because it's negative, we assume, but we're not 100%. What about this one?
I don't think she's 40. I mean, she can be older than 25.
So this is a little bit stronger. This is a little bit more affirmative, a little bit stronger. Can't be, impossible. Impossible that she's older than 25. So we have two different negations, must not and can't be. Must not is not as strong or not as intense as can't be, okay? And then we have the last one, Ramos. What about the last one?
I'm not sure, but maybe the professor.
Very good. Not sure. Anything like may, might, that's a possibility. And this is the lowest of all of the module verbs, may and might, okay? So maybe,
Teacher, ¿cuál sería un tip para usar el can? Creo que es un poco más fácil, but must, may, may, might también estaba.
yeah.
I'm confused.
Okay, very good. So I have excellent news for you. May and might are always going to be possibilities. Always going to be possibilities. And there's no difference between may and might. On the exam, you won't see a question that says select may or might because they're the same. They're exactly the same, okay? Possibility, possibility.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Can you give me an example? What must and must is at the top, right? Must is strong prediction, right? So this is a strong prediction. This is something that you're almost 90% and above. This is a strong prediction. Okay, so maybe you can think of an example. Can you think of an example, Ramos?
No. Okay. No.
No? All right,
¿Puede poner un ejemplo de must?
sure. Let's move this here. Put this here. Here we can put an example, right? Ramos must be an excellent student because he understands everything, right? So this is an assumption, right? Must be an excellent student, right? Because this is a prediction that I'm sure of. Why? Because it's Saturday, you're here, you're taking notes, there's no other students, you must be an excellent student, okay? Maybe we could say something like, she must be the mom because she is carrying the baby, okay? Again, I can see a baby is in her hand, so it must be the mom. She must be the mom.
Okay, I understand.
Excellent. All right, let's finish, Ramos. Here we have adjectives with ED. So let's begin by reading this one here, Ramos.
adjective ending in ed can describe how you feel about someone or something.
For example,
For example, I'm bored with my job and interested
interested
in
astronomy.
astronomy.
Excellent. So, one moment, please. Here, we're talking about someone's or something's feeling, okay? This has to be a feeling, and we're going to use the ed. I am bored. I am interested. So, someone's feelings, right? I am interested in going to the beach, right? Again, my feelings, my interest, so we have to use the ed. Here we have the other one, adjectives ending in ing. Can you read this one?
Well, adjective ending in
ing.
ing can describe someone or something. For example, my job is very boring. I think astronomy is interesting.
Excellent. So now we change. Now, instead of using ed, now we are describing someone or something. So instead of using ed, now we use adjective plus ing. Boring, interesting, fascinating, exciting, something like that, right? And here is an excellent picture that you can try to remember, or maybe you can take a screenshot of this, Ramos. But if the subject of the sentence is an object, we use ing. If the subject of the sentence is a person or like the feeling, then we're going to use ed, okay? So he is bored, the books are boring. So this is an excellent picture to remember, okay? All right, Ramos, any questions?
No.
Excellent. Let's erase. And we are almost done, okay? This is the last slide, the passive voice. The passive voice is going to be used. Please read this part here.
A ver, quería hacer una pregunta si no se me olvida.
Okay.
En this class también vamos a ver los phrasal verb, creo que se llama.
No, there's no phrasal verbs here, no.
Okay.
But if you have a question, you can ask. You can ask me a question, Ramos.
Al final, ¿este ya es la última tutoría o va a haber otra tutoría?
This is the last one, Ramos.
Okay.
The last one.
A ver, what is it? The active voice occurs when something is being done to the subject of the sentence.
Excellent. Active. Here we have active sentences. The donut was devoured by Homer Simpson. Kenny is being punched by Cartman. So here you can see that the active voice is when something is being done to the subject of the sentence. And then the passive voice is this one here, the donut or Kenny. Maybe we could do some examples here. Homer devoured the donut, right? So here we have a regular sentence. And here we have, oh no, sorry. No. Here we have the regular sentence, and here we have the regular sentence, and here we have the passive voice. We focus on the object receiving the action, okay? What does it say here, Ramos? Notice?
Notice that the subject of each example, the donut and Kenny, is passive. The subject is being
Acted.
acted on the intent of it acting on something.
Excellent. So Cartman is the person doing the action. Cartman is punching, right? Cartman is punching. And Kenny is being punched. Kenny is receiving the action. The donut is being devoured. So it's receiving the action. The passive voice is always going to be the to be plus past participle, okay? This is always going to be. So when you see that we have was, the verb to be, devoured, past participle. Here we have a different form. This is going to be the continuous, the ing, but it's still the verb to be plus the ing and then plus the past participle, okay? On the next slide, you can see all of the different structures, okay, Ramos? So please take a look at this part here. Here, you can see all of the different structures, okay? You have the present simple is the basic one, the verb to be plus past participle. The past simple, we just use the past form of the verb to be plus the past participle. And it continues, 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 continues. Okay? So if you want, we can take a screenshot, Ramos,